Hi everyone, it's Henford here, and I'm here today to give you a skirmish match. I'm going to be playing as NATO against Australia and the USSR. So what I'm going to do is choose this map, Oil Town Arabia. It's a 4-person map. It's a few oil derricks. You know, it's very friendly to players who like to camp, but also very good in the way that it forces players to venture outside their little area for resources eventually. So we're going to pick the spots here and start the match. So we're loading up. So the game started. I've got my construction crane sitting in the center there. Now I'm building a plasma collider, which is NATO's power plant, and I'll build an oil refinery next. So that's building at the moment. Now you'll notice got our oil field to the right. Quite a decent amount of space to build, and our central entrance point. Yeah, and our oil refinery's nearly done, so we'll place that up, and there you go, neat new build animation as well. Create a barracks, and up that goes. And what we're going to do is build some engineers to capture the power of the oil derricks. Skipping forward in time here, and our engineers have arrived to the oil derricks in the center of the map. It's the centerpiece. We've also got oil trucks in the middle of the map, and yes, they do go boom. Okay, so jumping ahead, and my base is a little bit more expanded here. I've built an assembly plant, which is NATO's equivalent of a war factory, and I also have 2 engineers on their way to 2 additional oil derricks, which are out on the left and right bottom sides of the map. One thing that you'll notice I've brought back here is the ability to build base defenses around your tech buildings, and that just allows you to better defend your captured tech buildings once you have them. So you can see as I click into the tab that my tactical command center is almost built. I've also noticed that I don't have enough power to actually power my tactical command center, so I'll power down my 2 base defenses first and then place up the structure, and you'll notice that that provides me with my radar. Also has 2 upgrades available: Spy Satellite, which works much in the same way as a spy satellite from Red Alert 2, giving you full viewage of the battlefield, and an advanced research pod, which allows you to build advanced weaponry, the Liberty assault mech, plasma weaponry, and the plasma pulse cannon super weapon. Oh, and as I'm saying that, in flies a Soviet Antonov cargo ship to paradrop 3 T-90s right into the heart of my base, and they're causing a bit of mischief. So what I will do is use the Sentinel virus. It's a tier 1 tactical support power, and it will disable any enemy vehicle for 30 seconds, giving me time to take them out. As such, the tactical power that I've just used then is a pinpoint plasma blast. It is a level 2 NATO tactical support power and costs $3,000 or 3,000 credits to deploy. And what I'll do now is jump ahead in the battle using the power of video editing to a point where Soviet forces are giving my captured oil derricks a bit of a hard time, and that sole defensive turret is looking quite overwhelmed. What I'm going to call in is an A10 tank buster level 2 tactical support power. Cost me $4,500, and they're going to fly in now. and while they're not all destroyed, it was significant enough to force a retreat. So, job done. And we're also getting a view here of the Australian base as the A-10s fly over it, which looks quite established. You'll see here that I've built 2 Humvees and 2 plasma assault craft. I'm also going to begin building the spy satellite upgrade so I can get a better view of the map. So I'm going to jump ahead to the action. I'm going to attempt to attack the northern Soviet base, and I'm using my Humvees, which are they're quite fast, but their primary function is as an anti-air vehicle. Their missiles are okay against infantry, however they're not faring too well here against these tanks, and my 4 vehicles are actually getting quite overwhelmed here at the moment. So what I'm going to do is launch a level 1 tank buster. Unfortunately, it appears that they're going to arrive too late to help out my forces, and there you go, there's the attack from the Raptors. However, my 4 vehicles are long gone. What we do get here, however, is a view of the northern Soviet base, and as with the Australian base, it's quite established. What I'm going to do now is begin building a plasma pulse cannon superweapon, which I now have access to due to my advanced research upgrade that I've built before. I'm also going to build a Liberty Assault Walker, and what you can see is that the Australians have also built their own super weapon, the Devastator Cannon, which operates on a 3-minute recharge time and should cause both myself and the Soviet AI a fair bit of trouble once it's ready to fire, so we'll have to keep note of that. Here you can see the 2 upgrades attached to the Tactical Command Center. We have the Advanced Research Pod, and the large satellite dish on top is the Spy Satellite. I'm also going to begin researching my Tier 3 Tactical Support Powers. Once completed, and that will take about 2.5 minutes, will provide me access to NATO's Daisy Cutter support power and Tactical Nuke support power, which I will be using hopefully later in this video. Okay, so again, using the magic of video editing, we can jump back to our base where my Liberty Assault Mech is now completed, and I've also upgraded it with the Plasma Cannon upgrade, which costs $3,000, takes about 2.5 minutes to build, and basically provides an additional massive shitload of firepower. So what I'm going to do is just skip forward, so we can see that our mech is now at the Soviet base and ready to wreck things. With our Tier 3 Tactical Support Powers upgrade now finished and a whole heap of money in the bank, it's probably a good time for me to start demonstrating some of the Tier 3 powers as well. So you've noticed that I've disabled a whole heap of enemy vehicles using the Sentinel virus, and I've called in a Daisy Cutter strike. That will be delivered via a B-2 stealth bomber, which is en route at the moment. In the meantime, I'll let the mech do its thing, and as you can see, its cannons and plasma cannon are quite effective. So here comes our bomber now, and this is going to be pretty messy. So there you go, plenty of bang for your buck. And I don't think that there's many infantry or tanks that are going to be surviving something like that. As we're reeling from that blast, you'll notice in the upper left that the timer is running down to 0 on Australia's Devastator cannon. Let's jump over to their base. There it goes. So I guess it's now a lottery. Will I be hit, or will the Soviet base take another massive hit? And it appears that we got lucky. The Soviet base has taken a hit from the Devastator cannon. Right in the construction yard. What I'll do is launch an attack against the Australian base now, using my tactical nuke. And you can see it's being delivered now by a B2. I also have some MRLS units ready to and again you'll see that blast is even more impressive than the daisy cutters. You've got extensive damage down there, about 10 units taken out, as well as 2 helicopter aerial units. Okay, so jumping forward now, and my MRLS units are attacking the entry to the Australian base, notably their ore trucks, which are having to leave the base in order for resources, and we've provoked a response. They're attacking with a whole range of tanks, including this nasty unit on the left hand side, the Crocodile tank destroyer, which is absolutely lethal against tanks, not so much against buildings or infantry. However, it's going to prove to be quite a big hassle for our long range and rather relatively low armoured artillery units, and as expected they're crumpling pretty easily, and the Aussies have taken minimal casualties there, and that attack was a massive fail. So let's jump over to our mech, which is faring a little bit better but has come under attack by a whole range of pesky Soviet infantry units. Due to its range, it cannot defend itself against these units, which include, if I zoom in closer, 2 squadrons of flamethrower Reapers. So what I'm going to try and do is use a unconventional method, use a level 1 tank buster and a pair of Raptors to try and take out these guys with a missile attack. So in come our Raptors, and it appears they've only done half the job. 2 of the Reapers, which are incredibly resilient and can't be run over by vehicles, have survived. I also notice up in the upper right hand corner that my plasma pulse cannon is ready to fire. However, it also appears that my Liberty Walker, bang, there it goes. And the Australians have fired another blast from their Devastator cannon. And it looks like we didn't get so lucky this time. It's hit right on my tactical command center, which appears to have taken a fatal blow. My radar's now out, my spy satellite's now out, and that blast has also taken away access to my tactical support powers. However, luckily for me, my plasma pulse cannon is ready to fire, so I can retaliate immediately with an incredible attack. Jumping ahead in the battle, and in the spirit of kicking a man while he's down, I've called in a B2 to drop a daisy cutter on the outside of the Australian base. So down it comes, and I'll zoom on these infantry, see them explode into little pieces. also zoom in and show you a few of the structure upgrades that some of the Australian buildings have. They can be upgraded and fortified to incorporate anti-infantry, anti-aircraft turret defences. I'll demonstrate here a few of the special ops units. These guys are armed with 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifles. As you can see, quite effective against these Soviet conscripts. And again, more bloody chunks. Very pleasing to the eye. And that's a nasty mess down there. We'll jump forward again, and I've decided that it's time to take out this devastator cannon that's been troubling me a bit. I've put in some A-10s and a tactical nuke to attack this structure and see if we can't wipe it out for good. Look at that flash. But it appears that the bastard survived that attack. It's just holding on, so I've caught in some Raptors. I'm going to see if that can finish it off for me. I've also got Apache gunships, 2 plasma assault craft. In come our Raptors, and bang, there goes the devastator cannon. We'll jump forward again. My Apaches are having a little bit of a hunting trip, popping a few of the Australian ore trucks, taking away their supply lines. What I'm going to do now is, you may have noticed the 4 aircraft bays on the tactical command centre. What we can actually do is build joint strike fighter aircraft, and basically work the same way that Harriers worked in Red Alert 2. They have 1 missile. They can attack ground targets. As you've noticed here, I've got a group of 7 PAVs, plasma assault vehicles. I'm going to try and take up this base, the group now, and eliminate one of my opponents in this match. They can tear them apart pretty easily. The structure we've got to look out for is at the upper part of the screen here. I'll zoom in. It's a Scocco defensive turret. It's armed with very heavy shells that can make a mess of infantry and armour. And we'll demonstrate what happens if you get a bit too close with these 2 units, and they don't last too long. That's 1 down. And there goes the second. That's very painful, so we'll stay away from that. The Australians only appear to have 1 major structure left. That's their construction yard. So I'm going to go all in with my Apaches. I also have 2 Ranger squads, 2 special ops squads there. And let's see if we can wipe that out. So that's it. The Australian base is now out of the equation. We've only taken 1 casualty there. One of our Apache gunships has gone down. What I'm going to do now is demonstrate the JSF aircraft, which, as I said before, are housed at the Tactical Command Centre. I've got a squadron of 4 there, and I'm going to fly them up to the Soviet base. I'm going to pick this nuclear reactor. You'll also notice I've instructed my plasma assault craft to attack that base as well, and what I'm going to try and do now is end this battle right here. So in we go, and there goes our power plant. Next up I'll be dropping a daisy cutter bomb on the remaining Soviet structures, and they've only got 4 of them left. 1 power plant and 3 oil refineries. I'm also popping their battle miners with my plasma assault craft. The battle miners are armed with a small chain gun to defend them against infantry, but it isn't really a big threat to any kind of armour. So in comes our B2 carrying the daisy cutter, and we've got some heavy ordnance. And what you'll see there is that the daisy cutter, although extremely effective against infantry and against armour, isn't as effective against structures. What I'm going to aim to do now is finish these buildings off with my plasma assault craft. Although that being said, I would much prefer to go for the grandstand finish here and end this match with my super weapon, with my plasma pulse cannon. And isn't that a beautiful sight? And that brings me to the GDI logo spinning there. Just a little reminder that this still is a work in progress and there's a little bit of work to be done before I can release this. So I hope that you enjoyed this brief walkthrough, or not so brief walkthrough, of this skirmish match. I promise that we're not too far away from release. As you can see, we're dealing with a very much 99.99% completed mod, and hopefully I'll have a release for you all soon. Cheers.